Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Dani and this is my YouTube channel. If you're returning, so lovely to see you again. In today's video, I've got another one of my Dani top 10 ranking videos, and today I am doing Pixar movies. I love Pixar, I love Disney, I just love it all. But today we're specifically focusing on Pixar, and I'm going to be giving you my top 10 picks for which ones I love the most. Little disclaimer, I'm obviously not going to be including ones that I haven't seen, so if you're like, why isn't that movie in there? Probably because I haven't seen it. Like, I don't think I've seen Cars, so Cars isn't on my list. I haven't seen The Good Dinosaur. I haven't seen Onwards, which I need to. I know that one's new. And I know there is a couple of others that I haven't seen, but on the most part, I've seen most of them. Some that are further down the list might be because I haven't seen it loads, but I'm taking that as I didn't have a compelling reason to want to watch it again in a hurry. So yeah, if this sounds like the kind of thing that would interest you, please keep watching. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and if you don't already subscribe to me, don't forget to go and hit that subscribe button. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, apart from my list itself, I haven't prepared any notes for this one. I thought I would speak from the heart. So, coming in at 10, we have, oh, something else I forgot. Sorry, almost got there, almost got to the drum roll, pulled it back. Something I forgot to mention, I'm doing like a franchise as one. I'm not doing like Toy Story 3, Toy Story 2, Toy Story 1. Like, I'm just doing it as Toy Story as a collective. But when I get to Toy Story, spoiler alert, I mean, if Toy Story wasn't on my list, who am I? But I will let you know which of the franchise is my favourite and which is my least favourite. So I'm kicking off number 10 with The Incredibles. I really like The Incredibles, but like I was saying in the start, it's one of those films that I haven't really watched loads, so I'm not overly familiar with it.
Showtime.
All I know is I watched Incredibles 1 in the cinema and really enjoyed it, and I watched Incredibles 2 at the cinema and really enjoyed it. It's about a superhero family. There's like a baby that's got superpowers. They've all got superpowers. There's an evil guy. Like, I'm not going to dwell on Incredibles too much because I'm not overly familiar with it, so I can't really talk about it loads. But yeah, that is number 10 on my list. Coming in at number 9 for me is Ratatouille. I love Ratatouille. Ratatouille follows the life of Remy, who is a little rat who finds his passion in cooking.
I like good food, okay? And good food is hard for a rat to find.
It is so fun and it's so cute how Remy and Linguini make friends, and they just sort of help each other out, and it's just like, yeah, another really lovely movie. Again, one that I'm not overly familiar with. I've definitely seen it more times than I've seen The Incredibles, but it's just a really cute film, and yeah, it deserves a place in my top 10 list. Number 8 for me is incredibly nostalgic. It reminds me of being a kid, and I feel like I basically grew up watching this film. I feel like it must be one of the first, if not the first, Pixar film to come out. But it is A Bug's Life. A Bug's Life is so cute. It follows the life of Flick the... Is Flick the grasshopper? No, Flick is the... Hopper's the grasshopper. But yeah, it follows the tale of Flick, a little ant, and his colony. And Flick is kind of like an adventurous sort of ant. He's an explorer. He doesn't want to be a sort of tied down to the routine of being an ant. He likes inventing things, and he eventually like goes off to the big city and he makes friends with these other bugs, and it's just so great. And they're sort of at war with the grasshoppers. Obviously the grasshoppers eat the ants and they're all scared of them, and yeah, it's just a really lovely movie. If you sort of love bringing animals or insects to life through movies, then I would highly recommend watching A Bug's Life. Finding Nemo comes in at number 7. Obviously a very, very cute film of these lovely fish, particularly clownfish. Follows this father who is incredibly protective of his clownfish son, because not only has he lost his wife, but his sunfish has a disability, so he's extremely protective of him. And it's about this clownfish Nemo going missing and his dad going on this journey across the sea to try and find him. He meets all sorts of characters on the way, including Dory, who's a forgetful... What kind of fish is Dory? She's a Paracantherus hepatus, or Pacific blue tang fish. He meets Dory, who ends up getting her own film, Finding Dory, which I actually haven't seen. I know, surprising. I need to watch it. But yeah, it's such a lovely movie. And if you want something that tugs on them heartstrings, go and watch Finding Nemo.
Fish are friends, not food.
Number 6. But some people might find me controversial for having this at number 6 and not higher, but hear me out because I have my reasons. But number 6 is Up. I love Up, but I love like the first hour of Up, and then I think it gets a bit boring. Sorry, I said it. It gets weird. Like, the beginning is so moving. You're crying in the first 30 seconds. Well, I cry in the first 30 seconds. Up follows the life at the beginning of this couple who get together as kids. They go all through life together. They're always sort of like, they have a dream to visit this destination. I can't remember what it's called, but they're always saving up for it. They keep having to break into their savings. And they always had this dream, one day we'll go. And they were never able to have children. Oh my God, it's just so emotional. Anyway, it just makes me so emotional thinking about it. They aren't able to have children, and they're getting older, and eventually the guy's like, right, when they're basically kind of old, we're going to do this. We're going to go to the place that we've been waiting to go to. He's going to surprise her with a little picnic with the tickets. Anyway, when they're on the way to the picnic, she sort of falls over, and it's clear that she's gotten the woman's gotten quite ill, and she ends up dying. Oh, Jesus, so this man becomes this grumpy old man in his house, lost the love of his life. No, it's emotional. He's being people are trying to evict him. I think they're like property developers. And he refuses to go. It's his home, it's his house, it's where he lived with his wife. And he escapes with loads of balloons in the sky that somehow lift him and the whole foundations of his house up into the sky so that he can go to that what is that holiday destination they're trying to go to called? I can't remember. But and then it kind of gets a bit boring after that. Don't need to watch it anymore because I've just given you a run through of the best bits of Up. But yeah, honestly, it's a lovely, lovely emotional film, but it ends up just getting a bit weird with like talking dogs and stuff. So Up is number 6. We are getting into our top 5. At 5 for me is Inside Out. I loved Inside Out when I first watched it, and I think I watched it a good few times after I first watched it in very quick succession because I thought it was such a great movie. Up is really clever. It's all about understanding emotions, and I guess it's good for kids to understand why they feel different emotions because obviously it's Pixar, it's mainly aimed at kids. But it's just really interesting. It follows the life of this girl and the different emotions living in her head. So we have like happiness, sadness, anger. What's the last emotion in Up? I know what he looks like. Did I say Up? I meant Inside Out. I want to say like shy. Oh, fear, of course, fear. And it's just really sweet, and it's just inside this girl's mind, and it shows sort of like her memories, her like most important memories, the memories that are drifting away, and it's just a really lovely film, and I think it's really cleverly done. And yeah, I just love Inside Out. Again, people might think, why? I know 4 is high on the list, but why this is at 4? But I think given what my top 3 are, it's understandable. But 4 for me is Toy Story, the Toy Story franchise. My number 1 Toy Story film would be number 3, followed by 1, followed by 2. Number 3 just hits different. It gets me in there. I remember when, this was years ago, my little cousin Poppy, when she was like really young, she was like 3 maybe 3, maybe 4, and I was babysitting her, and we were watching Toy Story 3, and I was sobbing, and I remember I was sitting on the sofa, and she was sitting on the floor, like watching the telly. She like turned around at me and like blew me a kiss because she could see I was upset, bless her. And yeah, just Toy Story. I think I don't need to give it any introduction. If you don't know what Toy Story is, you need to go and watch it. But it's just the most amazing movies, really, really cleverly done. It's all about inanimate objects coming to life and having their own world, but also really being connected. Oh my God, I didn't even put number 4 on the list. You can understand when number 4 would come. I did like 4, but it's a completely different league to the other ones. But yeah, I love Toy Story. It's about toys and not just kids' connections to the toys, but how the toys are also connected to the kid. Obviously, Woody is so loyal to Andy and doesn't want to leave his side ever. And just in number 3, the 2 moments that get you is when all the toys are holding each other. They've accepted that they're doomed forever, and that's it. They're going to go into this furnace and be goners. And it's just such a beautiful moment where they all hold each other. But for me, the main bit is at the very end, where Andy is going off to college and he finally lets go of his toys and gives them to Bonnie and has like one final play with them. And Woody is, I know he smiles. That's his toy face, but you could just tell how happy Woody is to have that one last play with Andy. Oh, it's just so good. Just gets me every time. But yeah, Toy Story at number 4. This film, I just think these top 3, no. Number 1 is my number 1, and it always will be. But number 2 and 3 could be interchangeable, and they could sometimes creep above number 1, but not on a permanent basis. Number 3 is WALL-E. WALL-E is such a good film. Like, the fact that I think there's a stat, I can't, but I'm gonna look it up. Bear with me. Even looking at his little face in a picture makes me well up. Right, I can't find the stat. I once read a stat that there's like literally no talking for the first however many minutes of the film. And obviously WALL-E doesn't speak at all except saying Wally, Evie. Wally. 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 Eve. And it just speaks volumes. It's so, I'm getting deep here. It is such a good film. It's set in like a dystopian future where humans have like used all the world's resources, so much so that they've had to like go to some like thing that's been built, some like almost like world up in the sky. I explain that really great, but it's basically a place where they need to go, lie low, chill until sort of the world is in a better place again. But anyway, they're there for obviously hundreds and hundreds of years, and WALL-E is like a little robot on the world who's like cleaning it up, like doing his little job of like, and Evie comes down, and Evie is part of a collection of robots like her who scour the earth to look for life, to know whether, you know, humans can come back to Earth, whether Earth has started sort of reproducing again. Is that the right way to put it? But, you know, if there's life on Earth again. And WALL-E just has this like amazing connection with Evie through no speaking. It's lovely, and she finds a little plant that's grown, so she sort of shuts down and gets taken back up into this like place where humans are living. And WALL-E goes to find her, and yeah, it's just really good. It's all about sort of humans getting back to Earth and stopping to be. The message is about, you know, stop being lazy, stop using the Earth's resources, be a bit more sustainable and ethical. And it's just really like beautifully done, beautiful scenes, and I just absolutely love it. If you haven't seen WALL-E, you're missing out. Number 2 for me, oh my God, it's a new film, and it's like crept right up to the top of my list because I was blown away when I watched it. And number 2 for me is Coco. If you have not seen Coco, you need to watch it immediately. It is the most beautiful movie. I'm so impressed with who wrote it and the whole concept behind it. It's essentially centered around the Mexican holiday Day of the Dead, and follows this little boy Miguel, I think I'm saying it right, and he basically gets lost in the land of the dead. The essential story is that there's this family, Mexican family, who's sort of one of the oldest patriarchs of the family, was really into his music, ended up leaving his family for his love of music. So from there on out, music was banned from the house. Generations later, you get to Miguel, who has like a deep-rooted connection with music, and all he wants to do is play music, play his guitar, sing. He's just into music. And one thing leads to another. He ends up getting stuck in the land of the dead, and it's about him trying to find his like great grandfather, and just going on this journey to sort of get back to Earth. And it's the themes in this film, there are so many. It covers life, death, family, music, you know, generations of memories and love. Oh, Memories is it's just such a good movie. You have to watch it, and it has one of my new favourite Disney/Pixar songs in it, which I can't stop singing all the time, which is Un Poco Loco. If you haven't listened to it, I want to play it, but I think I'll get copyrighted. Oh, I'm not monetized yet anyway.
What color is the sky? Ay, mi amor, ay, mi amor. Where should I put my shoes? Ay, mi amor, ay, mi amor. You say, put them on your head. Ay, mi amor. You make me un poco loco, un poquitito loco. The way you keep me guessing, I'm nodding and guessing that I'm only un poco loco.
It's just so good. Anyway, coming to number one. The top of the top, the creme de la creme of Pixar movies. The one, oh my God. Again, it makes me, why do the Pixar producers and writers know how to get you right in there? Honestly, if you haven't guessed it, of course, number one is the world of Monsters, Inc. Obviously the original, that's up there for me. I love Monsters, Inc. University as well. I think it's great, but we're focusing on the OG Monsters, Inc., which I think I've seen like thousands of times. That's probably an exaggeration, but I have seen it a lot. I know the film very well. It follows a world where monsters, basically, for the energy to run in their monster town, they have to, there's a group of monsters who work for Monsters Incorporated. I'm Monsters Incorporated. There's a bunch of monsters who work for Monsters Incorporated, and they have to basically get doorways into like the human world, sneak in. They're all different kids' bedrooms, and they have to scare them. The kids scream, they generate the scream. That's how they run energy. Very simple. Anyway, it follows one of the top scarers, who is Sully, and his best friend Mike Wazowski. Mike Wazowski is not a scary monster, but he is like, I guess, the logistical manager, assistant, or whatever of his best friend Sully.
Scary feet, scary feet, scary feet. Oh, the kids away! Twins! And a bunk bed!
There is another monster called Randall. I don't even need to go into that much detail. It's fine. But anyway, Randall, Sully, enemies. Randall's trying to get one up on Sully, so he's like scaring out of hours. Ends up bringing a door in, and the child who lives through that door escapes into the monster world. She's called Boo. She is cute AF, and Sully and Mike Wazowski end up taking Boo under their wing, and it's just about them trying to get Boo back home, and sort of evil monsters in the monster world recognizing that Boo can't go back home because she'll out the monster world. By the way, monsters are really, really terrified of humans, particularly children. Like, they think it's toxic. So it's very like good versus evil. It's a fantastic movie. It makes me sob when they send Boo back home, and it's just that moment at the end, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, when Mike hand puts the shredded door back together. Sully gets that last tiny little piece and slots it in, the door becomes active, and you just see Sully walk into the door, puts his face round, and he goes, Boo? And she goes, this was her nickname for him, Kitty! And he's like,
Boo?
Kitty.
that may have been a creepy face to me, but oh my god. It's just so good. I love Monsters Inc. so much, and I just don't think it will ever be topped, although Coco is very close, but not quite there. On a parting note, if no one's read The Pixar Theory, please go and read it. I'm going to link it down below. I remember I read this years ago. It's basically, it puts Pixar movies on like a chronological timeline. So like, for example, because The Incredibles is set in like the 70s, I believe, that's like the first movie. And like it sort of goes through all the movies until we get way out into the future, with WALL-E, for example, being right at the end. And it sort of talks about the balance between like, or battle or whatever it is, but between humans, like monsters, animals, and inanimate objects. So it's just really cleverly done. And I remember like when I first listened to it, it all comes full circle. And they sort of end up relating. I don't want to give any spoilers, but if you like Pixar, go and read The Pixar Theory. I might have to read it again because there's been quite a few new Pixar movies since I last read it. I think I last read it just before The Good Dinosaur came out. So yeah. Thank you so much for watching. If you agree with my picks, let me know in the comments below. If there are any movies that weren't on my list that you absolutely love, like Brave or Cars, let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you disagree, if you agree. I'm really intrigued to hear what everyone else loves. If you agree that Coco is such a great movie. I've recently watched Soul, which I think is really nice as well, but didn't quite make the top 10. But yeah, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. And if you don't already subscribe to me, go and hit that subscribe button. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Bye.